ራሳችሁን ያስተዋውቃሉ። ማነው ማነሽ? ምንድን ነው መሰሉ ካምፓኒ ወዲህ?
Hello, good evening. My name is Fayza. I am Sophonias.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fayza. I'm the founder of BINA Pads. BINA Pads is a woman-led startup company mainly doing research on import substitution products from agro-wastes which are available locally. Among those products, we developed sanitary pads, reusable and disposable sanitary pads, and we developed eco-plates and wind bandage from enset fiber. So we have been doing these researches, and we turned the research into real product. So in terms of business, we start selling our reusable parts and generate revenue out of them. So this is about BINA products. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Yes. Very good. So I'll just be using this one. So my name is Sophonias Dawit. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Enzirt Engineering. So Enzirt Engineering is a company that designs and manufactures fit-to-purpose agro-processing and agricultural machineries. Currently we've designed and produced machineries that can process different agro-materials or grains. And our approach has been to study our local context. Contextually speaking, we have if that has not been mechanized as much. We have even grinding it using a hammer mill. When it comes to if is really hard because it hits up. So we need like stone plates that comes from different areas. I think we need just like the Enzirt. If you guys know Enzirt, Enzirt is a simple tool that turns a cotton into a thin thread. It turns it. It's a genuinely Ethiopian product. Every Ethiopian knows that tool being used by their grandmas. It's very contextual, but it solves a local problem. I think that's what we're trying to do, giving local producers a solution that fits, or a machinery that fits their actual problem. That's me. Yeah, if you don't.
Salam, my name is Bezawit. I'm the co-founder of Nuniya's Kitchen. Nuniya's Kitchen is a family-owned, women-led food innovation company in Ethiopia. We focus on producing high-quality, small batch products that are usually imported, but we make them using local ingredients. And we focus on value addition and community empowerment. As you can see, our logo is a chicken. So Nuniya is my grandmother. So we got the cooking skills from her. We use chicken because there's always chicken around her, so we decided to make the logo chicken. And we also have a sister company called Red Fox Spices. That's our sister company based in the US. We also export some of our products to the US market.
If you could tell us about the whole process of finding the product, the whole research and finding.
No, you microphone. What are you asking?
Do I need one?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'll speak. So as in startup, there is always finding a product, trying to do also market fit, and eventually could be research, could be expansion or scaling. That's what will actually come. So what was the process they actually followed? In finding a product, building it, and the whole research process. And eventually, when you come up with a product, I think yours needs certification. And how far have you gone in that journey? And let's say your teammate is also here. Can you introduce yourself? You have a name? Mulugeta. His name is Mulugeta.
That's a good question. I was university lecturer in Jammu University. I was an instructor in Jammu University under the Material Science Engineering department, and I was looking for research idea to do research and get published. So at that time I was looking for an idea, and I was seeing how sanitary pads keep increasing, the price was keep increasing, and I was looking for substitute material for that product. So my mother lived in Guragi, rural region, and I asked her what was the material they were using at that time. And she told me some of the women, after they give birth, they utilize the sheath part of the enset plant to manage their discharge. So I was surprised by the fact how the material can absorb a fluid and they can use it for maintaining their food. So, so it was surprising me, and I go to lab, and by having a target to turn that material into a really nutrition product. So I start my journey with my teammates to do research. Then we developed sanitary pads. We turn there is a inside the enset plant there is a fiber, so we change that fiber into a fluffy absorbent material. Then we developed disposable pad and reusable pad, and so far we have been generating revenue by selling reusable pads. The reusable pads are made from cotton fabric and also enset fiber. So we get testimonial results from different customers. They are very good, and they are suitable, comfortable, and we also generate revenue by selling them. And other products also we developed from this enset plant. As I said, there is also disposable pad, which can be used for one time. In case of reusable, it can be used for 2 years. And so by using enset fiber, it gives some value addition to the product. It gives antibacterial property, absorbency, and make it porous to the pad, and it can be easily dried. In case of disposable, the disposable pad as well is made up of the enset fluffy. So that disposable pad also have unique value proposition. It's comfortable, biodegradable, and also biocompatible. And we are using locally sourced material. Other products also we have been developed with our research team, like eco plates, disposable plates made from enset plant sheath, and also wound bandage. We developed wound bandage from this. So these things came from how, for example, we see some unique property within the material. So we think of how we can utilize this plant to different products. So this is how we come up. So this is our journey so far.
So considering the pads, there has to be an absorbency rate that can be compared. So how is it compared to the existing pads in the market? Because at the end of the day, the whole point of the pad is to absorb any fluid.
Yeah.
So how do you compare that?
So the absorbency, in case of locally available products, the locally available products are made up of synthetic material. Mainly it's called super absorbent polymer. So they are using synthetic material. So that material gives efficiency for the absorbency of the pads. All of the locally available products are made up of SAP, super absorbent plastic. So since they are using synthetic to replace with natural products, the efficiency, there is no any question with the efficiency or absorbency. So in case of our material, we use 70, pad is made up of 3 layers. The first barrier sheet, then the second one is absorbent sheet, then there is a plastic sheet, polyethylene plastic. So 70%, which is the absorbent core, is made up of a fluffy. So it can, so the fluffy have efficiency to absorb the fluid. So compared to the available product in the market, Since we are using fully the enset fluffy, our products have higher absorbency, as well as they are biocompatible. In case of that, in the sub case, according to researches and studies, using those pads for longer period of time, they may cause the vaginal problem, itching, and also even in some severe cases, they may cause a cancer. So they are synthetic. It's not like researchers show that. So like replacing with the degradable products or degradable natural material, it will give biocompatibility. Even environmentally, they are degradable. So that's the difference. But in terms of efficiency, like we can compare with the other products.
About certification?
Certification for our reusable pad, we listed Ethiopian Conformity Assessment Enterprise for material composition, water penetration, and also pH. So we certify our product with that enterprise. And disposable, we are ongoing on that process. We are partnered with another company to produce a disposable, and right now we are almost about to finish producing the disposable pad. So after finishing that journey, we will test the products.
So is the certification local standard or international standard that will be certified?
It's local standard.
But then have you tried the international ones?
No, like for the time being, since our customers are locally available, so we are not currently we will expand our market. So for the time being, it's enough. But for future we will.
My last question: are you profitable? Are you profitable? Are you making money?
Yes, we make money. Yeah.
Good. So we coming to you. You make machineries, but then you also mentioned how do you figure out the material consistency, the properties and types, and how to figure out how to build the products?
I think mostly our customers know their product more than we do. So we have a sit down and understand the material they're trying to process. One of the processes I've made for client is fiber. In terms of, we've made a fiber extractor for paper production purposes, with banana fiber, with enset fiber, and then we've made the same machine for food product as well. So one was for paper use, and one was for not for the fiber itself, rather for the enset, for the koch. So we've made. So when it comes to it, I think we go to the customer that is processing it. They normally process. Starting off, many processing companies in Ethiopia process very labor-intensive processes. So we study their process, or they show us their process, and we make that efficient. Or as an engineering firm, we take their knowledge and build a machine specifically to them. One of the other company we built machineries for was True Love Granola. I think if you guys know it. I've been meaning to meet with you as well. So it's very fit to purpose. So if Nuniya has her own unique process, so we're making machinery for her process, and BINA has her own unique process. We're enablers in a way that they first have a market fit product. And when they want to scale it up, when they want to scale up the very labor intensive, we go in there and systemize it.
So where do you come into the picture? Let's say, is it in the idea inception? Is it when they are trying to grow, when they are to scale, when they are trying to export? We come into the picture when they are trying to scale, and we give free consultancy services when in ideation phases. So we partner with Creative Hub, for example. Whenever startups are coming here, if they want to know how to process a certain thing, we advise them early on when they're figuring out ideas. But then, once they actually have market traction, we say, okay, now you are at the stage where you can have machineries, where you can also invest in machineries. So
pro bono services early on, but then at growth stages of companies, that's when they need technology enabling or they need machineries.
So what's your business model?
Our business model, we design and build the machineries for them. So it's a sales, it's a one-time transaction, but then we maintain, it's a lifetime maintenance. So after a 1-year warranty, they come to us for spare parts, they come to us for maintenance services. So we want to build Ethiopian industry from a small scale and slowly grow it. It's always small family businesses that turn out to be very big, I think behemoths. So we want to grow with them. Yes.
So how do you find them or do they find you?
Currently, because we are at capacity, we find they find us, but we limit it as we're also it's in high demand. Everybody in Ethiopia wants to process and they want to get machinery, but then internally we need to have engineers, we need to have a huge workshop to actually produce fit to purpose, because it's very unique. Her fiber extractor and somebody's fiber extractor is very uniquely tailored to their processes. And so scaling on our side has also been a bit of a challenge, but that's one thing we're also working on.
In getting all the inputs, you fundamentally have to talk to a lot of farmers. You have to find a lot of people. So how do you find them? Where do you find them? How do you mobilize everything until it gets to your facility?
Okay, so we usually focus on small farmers, usually women farmers is what we used to target. But now, since it's not safe to travel anymore, we're not, I would say 80% we're not directly connecting with the farmers anymore, so we're finding them through traders. So that has also increased our costs significantly.
You didn't mention that.
Okay, what was the other question?
No, how do you find them? How do you mobilize them? Once you get it to all this, the logistics aspect of getting everything.
So yes, before, like just to avoid traders, we used to go directly to the farmers. Usually in the Gojam area is where we used to get, especially on Electro. But now, since we can't travel anymore, again, we're just using traders in Mercato and sometimes in shore. And also the other difficulty we're having dealing with farmers is now we're required to have official receipt for anything that we purchase. And most farmers and also traders are not willing to give you receipts. And that's also, we're not able to scale up because of that as well.
We know you do spice and granola, but then if you can give us a list of things that you can do.
Yeah, so we do.
Have you seen the samples that she's put up on the shelf? Yes. All right.
So feel free to try the samples too.
You can buy, there's no receipt, but then you can buy.
So sorry, what was your question?
The products that you have.
Oh, so okay, so we have two sections. One is traditional Ethiopian flavors. We sell that to the local market as well as export it to our sister company in the US. And also these products, what we're trying to do is reduce import. We can produce every international seasonings using the amazing Ethiopian grains, seeds, and herbs. And we're making this without no additional additives, no artificial flavors. So it's 100% organic, we would say. So some of our products are like different seasonings. You can see it, and we have granola. So granola used to be an item that used to be imported, and a few companies came to produce that. So we've tried to, as much as possible, even make it better than the imported ones. So that also, I believe, helps our economy a little bit by reducing import.
Bezawit and I, we know each other through a different program. I think the whole discussion that I remember is
how to brew tea.
Yes.
Can you give a lecture about in 2
Learn
minutes?
how to brew a tea. So on our social media page, we also try to develop recipes of how people can use our spices. So one of our famous one was our tea spice. So it's basically making an Indian tea spice. So do you want me to go through the whole process of it?
Let them learn.
Yes, please.
Did you say it about teaching, huh?
Yeah.
Good. No. During class.
So basically it's how to boil an Indian chai. So first you boil, let's say, a cup of water with our chai masala seasoning. You boil it for 5 minutes and then you add black tea leaf. You boil that for 5 minutes. If you like sugar, you can add sugar. After boiling it for 5 minutes, then you add a cup of milk. You boil that for another 5 minutes. So the trick is that you have to boil it. I know it sounds sometimes, but that's how the flavors develop. And after 5 minutes, again, you turn off the heat. You cover it and let it rest for 5 minutes. People would say that, oh, wouldn't it get cold? But it will be the same temperature. It'll be more flavorful and more creamier. So if you like, you can find us on Instagram. There's a step-by-step on how you could boil the tea.
So you also do export.
Yes.
So what has been the opportunity of that aspect and also the challenge?
So export is a big challenge. So let's say specific example, we tried to export the granola, and right when we got to the customs office, the officer was like, what is this? And we'd say, it's granola, it's made out of oats, and we went through the whole process. And he said, no, this is it kolo? Is it choco? And then it was actually very offending. And then we also add dried fruits. There's dried strawberry, dried apples in it. And he was like, oh, is this kwanta? No, kwanta is not allowed to export. So we had to cancel the export. Even we started exporting injera. But we decided to make the size smaller than the regular one. And the officer was like, you can't export this. Injera is not this size. But we were like, yes. But this is what the customer ordered. But he said, no. Injera, we have a specific gram that it should be, so you can't export that. So again, that export was canceled. And whenever we try to export, it's like a 2 days work could end up into a 3 weeks back and forth. So it would be good, maybe if they get a training or awareness of products, and also because there's always a new law that's coming, and I don't feel like they're aware of that. So that's actually, we're no longer interested to export. So even a week ago, we tried to export again the injera with the size that we were ordered, and imagine it took 3-4 days. So the injera by then, would get spoiled. So it's very discouraging and very expensive.
So what has been the opportunity that I have seen in the sectors and also the challenge that you're facing?
I think the biggest opportunity in Ethiopia is we have both the population numbers to support demand, and we have the production capacity. So Ethiopia, throughout its history, I know we've always been nothing but potential. But I feel like this could be the right time where that potential, some of that potential could be kinetic. I think we have a good number of engineers in Ethiopia right now with a good amount of wage. We have a good number of production. So the processing game is open. This is where we grab market. We look at bread shops. Anybody can open a bread shop and get a good profit within a month's end. But we can get a bit innovative, like granola has been a really teachable moment for me. There are teas that we've not touched. Coffee, we've really not. We think we have, but we've really not. Internal consumption has not gone. So there is a huge potential in the processing sector. And for me, as processors grow, there are more machines being bought from with local contexts, which means I can then develop, just like the German developed on France's and German's agriculture and processing, the German industry developed to have machineries. I believe we can do that. At the same time, there are bottlenecks when it comes to material. Just like the processors have issue with logistics of their raw materials, our raw materials, specifically for agro-processing, if it's food, it's stainless steel. Only a couple of people import it. We don't produce it in Ethiopia, so the price hikes. And yet the processors are willing to buy it. But then availability is a huge issue. So us importing it is also another hurdle, you know, import, export. It's similar, both directions. I believe if the materials or the raw materials are available, there are enough talent to capitalize on providing machineries. And then we can basically further enable the processors. But one of our biggest issue is materials. Material availability, both electromechanical and basic steel. So we have to re-engineer everything for the available material. So we're basically going Mad Max here. So what's available and what can we do? I think if those little constraints are removed, there is a huge potential in that sector.
What has been the challenge and the opportunities that you found?
In terms of opportunity, there is a huge demand for there are people who are eco-conscious people, so they really need the disposable part which is made from natural material. So still the market is available. So that's one opportunity. The other thing is as a challenge. Since we come up with idea innovation, there is some machinery shortage to produce the disposable part, since it needs machineries, especially the disposable part needs so many machineries. It have a long process, so that was the challenge to get the machineries. And also this like establishing the business by itself is very challenging. Getting manufacturing area from government and also financial support, also another challenge. So these are so many challenges as a startup. Recently, after so many process, we get a small manufacturing area from Fayza City. That time frame will take your time, your energy, even like loan process. There are banks are promising to give loans, but at the end of the day, when you are interact with them, they are saying you should have to verify these things. There are a lot of requirements to get those loans, and that's also another challenge. So that like reestablishing that startup by itself, it's not like in Ethiopia. It's not easy to reestablish a startup. Even from legalizing the business, everything is a hassle. So that's the challenge. So that's the things.
Good. So final question. Then we'll open up to the audience. So if I give you $1 million, what would you do?
So
Use of funds.
I give you $1 million. Invest in it. What would you do?
so we start producing the product. Shall I continue?
Yes. Thank you.
So as I said, we only get the chance to join the market with the reusable parts, since reusable parts are made up of cotton fabric and also the fiber is easy. In terms of disposable part, recently we have been partnership with the Lilac Part Manufacturing Company. It's a pioneer company. So we now have an agreement with them and to produce the disposable parts. So if I get a huge fund, I will start by myself to produce the disposable parts and other products. I mentioned other products, other eco-friendly products. So we'll
Pick your number.
I think as me and my co-founder were mapping the ecosystem of actually manufacturing it, the lowest hanging fruit that we can pick was producing machineries for startups. They're in huge needs. They'll even take on loans to pay us. So that was the lowest hanging fruits. We do want to produce it for them. And yet, scaling up is a big issue. I think if I have a million, I think one of the things that I would do is start importing basic metal to basically further streamline my production line for the machinery. Stainless steel and steel are a huge issue when it comes to food processing. So those are it. If you give me $1 billion, we have huge amount of raw material of steel in the Wello zone, in the Nazareth Basin. So these areas, we have a lot of iron ores. I think $1 billion, I could build a basic metal manufacturing agency. I think the government wants to also do that. We import huge amounts of steel, not just for manufacturing. We import a lot for construction. So we're using the metal for construction and trying to engineer it and machine it down for processing. So I think as a country is going into, we're trying to build infrastructures, both in manufacturing, agriculture, construction, basic metal industry in Ethiopia, I think, is one of the biggest hurdles we can tackle. We have the power, I think we need to produce that, yeah. Hopefully the transmission, the government will help.
You're free to add any zero that you want.
No, I'm good with the $1 million. So one thing I didn't mention, our second challenge is having a packaging and an affordable packaging, I would say. Because our products, we wanted to appeal both for the local and export market, so it has to meet the export standard. But even that, like even these materials that we get are not cheap. That's what gets our product a little bit high. So we would get a proper packaging processing. And also we want to use as much as possible eco-friendly packagings. So as you can see, that plastic for the spices, that we want to replace it with glass jars. And also the brown paper, if we can manufacture it. And also, we're all about women empowerment. So in our current facility, we usually hire women that are single mothers. So we give them a standalone housing for single mothers. So we can also expand that to empower women more.
Questions?
Sorry. I have got some questions. I come from Turkey. Some questions, but small. Sorry, where did you study? What's your education?
So
First,
Okay. I study at Adama University, Adama Science and Technology University, and I graduate with material science engineering.
Smart.
And continue my master degree at Jimma University.
you
So I studied at Addis Ababa University as a mechanical and industrial
smart
engineer.
too.
So I studied at Addis Ababa University. I studied economics.
MashaAllah. How many farmers have in Ethiopia?
The guys in the back.
Around 16.
Imagine it. I come from Mulugeta. My village is mountain of the any. For example, so sorry, I'm like an advocate of error against idea. How can I start this business? New, innovative. How can I find?
To invest or to start?
He said if he lives in Walaita, on a mountain in Walaita.
Yeah. For example, imagine in Mulugeta on the mountain village, I live there. I don't have any education. Maybe I went on the first school. How can I find this opportunity?
Okay.
Export, like house business.
I think first start is from inspiration and then the know-how. So there are farmers like back in the village who do different things that would serve, the market in their localities. So just we cannot define success like just by exporting a product or by producing a very state-of-the-art kind of machinery. But like if people are successful in producing or doing what they really love and really do best, that will be an opportunity. But if you are talking in terms of process, like we're going to start like in terms of registration or the staff sharing kind of thing, that is another thing to take further. But I think like we need to give it a kind of context.
Everyone is apologizing. First of all, I explain myself. I'm third generation is about agricultural trade. My family business that dried fruits and nuts, spices, and last 30 years green coffee trader. I saw over the 30 country, Asia, USA, Canada. Last 5 years I visited for green coffee in African countries. My idea is please, anyone don't misunderstand me, first of all. We have got my hometown is big exporter about dried apricots. First of all, 30 years ago, government set up market, wholesale market. I didn't see yet in wholesale market in Ethiopia about green coffee. My business, I tell you. Why? Because merchant always looking for cheap. And farmers' education is not good. How can they know prices every day? This is not micro, it's macro is the idea. Yeah. Our government saw this and set up everywhere, every city. Some cities dried figs, some cities hazelnut, some our hometown is dried apricots. Sorry again. I don't wanna any bad things about Ethiopia. Only my idea, because I stay in here 2 hours. I listen everyone. If you don't have market, where they sell product?
May I add something there? Okay, so this troublemaker is my guest, so I apologize. So basically, Farhat is he's in Istanbul. When I first visited him 2 years ago, he took me to his shop, and his shop in his office is in a place called Mega Center. And Mega Center has 2,500 agricultural businesses. So he focuses mainly on coffee, but and he has a small office upstairs, shop downstairs. And then he was showing me through the window. You see that guy over there? He's the biggest supplier of eggs to all of Turkey. And every 15 minutes, a truck comes with eggs and leaves. So I said, this is interesting. How does this work? Who built it? And the Mega Center, where they have wholesale markets for agricultural products, with 2,500 businesses, is owned and it was built by cooperatives across Turkey.
Yeah. Government give the field land. Land is free.
So the government set up this system. They said, here's land. All you cooperatives, whenever you produce stuff, you can come and sell here. Please build the system. It took them 50 years to build it, the cooperatives. But if you go there, it's really overwhelming. Like, you can drive from one end to the other, and it takes quite some time. It's massive, but it's super organized. And I'm also I'm in coffee. I'm in markets. My colleague Robina also is. She's in coffee. She comes from our company in Uganda, and she can say a few things about Uganda. But Uganda has really started taking markets very seriously. And because Uganda has started taking markets very seriously, markets for the coffee market in Uganda has gone from very low volume of production export to almost the same as Ethiopia now, over a space of less than 10 years. So this is just to reinforce Farhad's point about the need to take markets very seriously and support the development of markets. In the case of coffee, for example, we had this commodities exchange, which was supposed to be a type of marketplace. It's collapsed. It's not working anymore after millions and millions of dollars was spent on it.
Yes.
Because the way we understand how markets should work and the way the roles of government should be is completely behind the times. When Bezawit was talking about being told whether this is choco or kolo, did you give them some of the granola to eat?
No, I was really upset. So.
I think you should.
Because he has already made up his mind.
Yeah. So the point I was trying to make is basically, let markets do their work, and that means let people trade freely. I'll give one very small example. When I started in coffee many years ago, I was traveling around the countryside. One time I saw a lady who had maybe 5 kilos of coffee that she had produced. She was carrying it on her back with a sort of netala cloth. And she was traveling in a small minibus, from one town to the next town, because in the next town she'll get better price. One of the guys at the checkpoint stopped the minibus and was searching what people were carrying. She was told to get out, because the coffee she produces, she's only allowed to sell it in the nearest so-called market center. If she wants to travel half an hour to get better price, she's not allowed to. So he grabbed it from her. I saw this with my own eyes. He grabbed it from her, threw it on the street, and then the thing just splashed on the ground. She was standing crying. She couldn't do anything about it. So this idea, somebody earlier said we're recovering communists. We actually hate markets. We are afraid of markets. We're suspicious of markets, and we don't really know how they work or how they should be made to work. And so we hold a lot of innovators and people with good ideas back. Robin, if you want to say something about the Ugandan coffee market and how it's different from the Ethiopian market. Ethiopia is so overregulated.
Hi everyone. For Uganda, it's very liberal. Farmers are really encouraged to understand what it is they're trading. And what I've seen, as Brooke has just mentioned, is the ability to move to different markets, understand those markets, and try to make your product better for that market. That's still a challenge, because everyone is still, I don't know how to put it, the regions are still as regions. And in our country now, it has come to a point that you want market as a country to trade with the rest of the world. Uganda does do premium coffees, very premium coffees, but we have more synergies together. So people from the west will come to the east to get coffee and trade it in the east. If the east has a better price, or from the south, you are allowed to blend and mix and match things and take them out. For as long as your product is the best quality, there is regulation just in quality, because you're trying to get the highest profit for a country, and you're also trying to benchmark and say, we can compete on a world level. So that kind of brings it apart. So you have more small scale farmers actually learning, understanding how the markets work, these days they hold, like they are on an actual stock market, and they're like, no, I will not do anything to my coffee, let's wait for the prices to go back up. They were up last week, they'll come up. So you have more small-scale farmers learning. The information moves freely, so you also have people knowing more and more. So in terms of market, if Ethiopia could catch on to that, I think, because you have the best coffees in Africa, if you catch on to that...
I'm going to pass you soon.
Oh, you already passed. It's just decided that they're a little cheaper than Uganda's, but yeah.
Can I say something real quick? Sure. I don't need a mic. I can talk out loud. But one thing that from an observer that I've realized, going to my brother's point about how can some of these local farmers find companies like this up front, what I've sort of noticed being here 2 years, I feel like a lot of the roadblock is the government having the capacity to stop a lot of these militant groups, a lot of this militia, because people are afraid to travel. Whether it's tourists coming in, whether it's locals, people, whenever I say, I want to go, oh, don't go there, because you might get kidnapped. What, kidnapped? People are worried about being kidnapped. So how can you expand and want to do markets when people are afraid to travel? And I feel like if the government honed in on a lot of these militias and just pretty much put their force in and say, listen, guys, you're crushing tourism dollars, you're crushing all types of economic growth that we could have. And if the government just honed in on get rid of that, then people could travel more, so you could find these local farmers, and they would be able to travel to get these markets. And so if there are markets, like my brother said, set up in this region, set up in this region, guess what? Now that's tourist dollars, because now, okay, this region has the best bearberry, I want to go see that. This region has the best coffee, I want to go see that. This region has the best ananas, I love ananas, I want to go. So it's one of those things where the government has to come in, stop all this militia foolishness, wipe that out, and then people can travel, and you could set up those markets. But until people, whether it's foreigners or locals, feel safe to travel, none of that can happen.
Very good.
Let's take one more question or comments, and we'll end the discussion.
Thank you very much. I really like all the ideas from the founders. It's really fascinating because both of, like the three of you, it looks like really disruptive kind of idea, and I'm sure there is a huge potential of market and opportunity in that, but there are things that I would really like to highlight. For example, for you, for the enset sanitary pads, for example, like one of the worrying thing for me, for you, which I consider as a risk is, you would be fighting in terms of getting your raw materials with kocho, with gulla. It is one of the basic consumptions. I don't know which part of the enset that you are using for your parts, so that would be something to be considered, because like at the end of the day you would be profitable and bankable in our context when you can scale. And for scale, determining factors are your input, access, and also the market. I am sure the market would be very, very attracted to such kinds of things, but like making sure your input working back with the farmers might be somehow resource intensive. So in your pitch for the $1 million, I didn't grasp you working with the farmers in terms of ensuring consistent quality with sufficient quantity for your production. That is just for consideration. I am sure that you have considered it earlier, but it's just if more. And for you, for the Enzirt, I think it is great that we meet. I think there is a lot to do in the agri space, in the agricultural mechanization space, because like there are
registering members. Any commission that you have, you can pay to the association.
Very much happy. I want to
because the way I understand farm machinery or agricultural mechanization is appropriateness of the machines for the nature of our farm and the pocket size of our farmers, right? So I'm not a big fan of big machineries like big tractors, big combiners, but there are lots of fit for purpose farm machineries. There are treasures being imported from Turkey. I apologize, my friend. I really love if we can do that, because we cannot make it affordable. For example, a Bolo thresher. It is a very good threshing machine that is being imported from Turkey. 2 years back, it used to be sold around 600,000. Now it is around 2.3 million. Yes, per
Selection.
threshing. So you can understand if we can have the potential, if we are able to produce those kinds of machines here, how such kinds of technologies will be adopted to the space. So I really also want to give a remark that in your $1 million pitch, please include farm machineries.
That's our basic.
Yeah, and as a risk for Visa, I think the backward integration or the way you source your products, maybe if also you can, because like I said, Ethiopia is a very big country and with different agroecology. So for areas currently not accessible and source products, there are somehow similar replicas which you can access. So considering switching of your sourcing locations would help. So I know you would do that kinds of research, but we can share also some data that where will be your alternative sources until things like our friend earlier said get better. So thank you, but I am really fascinated. Thank you for meeting you.
To close the conversation, do you have last comments other than the 1 minute?
I think, creating markets, I've been to Rwanda, and the East African market is also an incredible. I saw the Rwanda between Uganda and Rwanda, and there are markets on both sides of the border, and they trade on. I've been to Moyabe, we don't do the same. And yet there are so many, there's huge market, but that can be, there is value there, right there. And the farmers come, their prices, it's a big shade, it's just a shade, like very simple shade, and yet it works. I think there is a lot for us to do in terms of that. When it comes to us enabling, what I've seen is it's not just an Ethiopian problem, it's an African problem. We don't value add. We say, commodities markets, it's really great, but if we don't start adding values on those produces that farmers produce, and if we are just trading them, I think we won't be getting that good money out of the value chain. Value-added processes should come along. And there's a long way to go, not just for Ethiopia, but for Uganda, and I feel like there is local talent that can enable that. On all value chains, both the production, the market creation, and the technology enabling a value addition is a big problem. And we need to put those different boxes and work on them. And I think as Africa, if we start value adding, if people already buy our quality coffee, they'll buy our quality roasted coffee just as much, or our quality floors, or we need to work on processing. I think that's also a key thing I want to remind all of us here. And one way or another, I think we're all working on that. Yeah. Thank you.
Lastly, there was a question raised from behind, and if there is a challenge on in terms of raw material shortage. So basically, the absorbent core can be made from cellulose-rich plants. So there are many resources to utilize to produce this fluffy material or this absorbent material. So previously, other countries were using the core to produce the core part or the absorbent part. They were using cotton, wood. So since they are enriched with cellulose, so the basic material to produce this thing is the cellulose. So there are many agro-wastes. So we can use bamboos, maize cover, and also banana stem. So we plan to use the banana as well as the enset. Now currently we are purchasing the fiber from the farmers, so we are limited with the enset fiber. But we are planning to scale up to install machines in other rural areas to extract the fibers from banana. Banana, for example, banana stem is useless. Even the cows doesn't need the stem, so we can it's the same botanic family with the enset plant, so it's enriched with the fiber, so we can have a lot of resource with the banana. So in that way we can yeah.
I can also comment with you. I think not just banana, banana and incest have the same. If you're using the fiber part, have if we say 1-to-1 fiber production. If you go to sisal, the southern part basically uses it as a fence. Sisal plants. They produce double or triple the amount of fiber from one leaf, and we don't use that plant. So they could basically go into that where nobody's still using it. But I think the opportunities are endless if we're connecting the right dots.
So my last comment will be, so I think now more Ethiopia is in demand of, they want to trace where their products come from, they want a healthier option, they want to know if the ingredients that we use are organic or non-GMO. So now people are becoming very health conscious. So if we improve on that, I believe more than the export market, even the local market could really grow. So when you mentioned earlier that we should start sourcing our, specifically I was talking about berbere. For our berbere, we choose to Morocco. That's the best. And already our clients are used to that. So when we switched, like our market really dropped. So we don't want to compromise on our quality. So that's why like the safety and the peace of the country would make a huge difference. And also I think technology would be a game changer. Because if like farmers get like, if they're like advanced in their machineries and everything, then that will also help us trace the quality of the ingredients, and everything will be very transparent. So I believe that would hugely impact the economy as well. So I believe we really need to work on the agriculture sector.
Thank you very much.